Andy Gallagher,
Simon.
how are we doing?
Fine, thanks.
Some game this morning.
Oh, a wet game this morning.
In the rain. Terrible.
pretty bad,
Terrible.
but,
We've been so lucky.
Diehards. Aye.
Yeah. And how many? We had 24, 25
Which is
there
good.
this morning.
It's
in
good
the rain.
idea what this is.
And guys in their 70s
And
and
guys,
80s.
and guys who were here yesterday are here 2 days in a row, which is good as well. Yeah.
Come a long way.
Yeah.
How long have you been playing, Andy? Walking football?
The walking football, I started walking football a few years ago because I was waiting in a hip operation, and
Right.
then I had to have the operation, recover from the
Oh, you've
operation,
had it?
and come back. Strange one,
Right,
Simon.
okay.
I'm back. I'm back.
So, when you first heard about it,
Yes.
what was your initial thoughts?
Well, I mean, walking football, when I first heard the term, I was thinking Father Ted.
Right,
That famous
yeah.
Father- that's what I would say, the Father Ted walking football. There was a living dead. And I thought, no, I can't bring myself to do that. But to be honest, I got to the stage where I couldn't. I was playing with Gifford North, Old Crocs, every Thursday.
That's football?
We'll meet for proper football.
5-a-side?
7, sometimes
Right.
11 aside, and then I got to the stage I couldn't play it, and I was depressed, seriously
Right.
depressed, and I was waiting for this operation, and waiting, and I thought, walking football, I'll give it a go.
Right.
And I
This
contacted...
is before the operation?
Yeah, it wasn't that bad, I was
Right.
waiting, but it was getting worse, and I thought, oh, surely I can, we'll still walk, carry
Yes.
on, but I'll walk. And I contacted Matt Ramsey, and he says, go to Bellahouston, indoors. And it was fine. And I thought, this is too easy, I'll have a go at Tory Glen. No walking involved.
Right.
Tory Glen. It was.
Yes,
I just
there's a
thought
different
this is
intensity
not
altogether.
walking football, high intensity, good standard of footballers. But these are guys that, to me, I thought shouldn't be walking at all.
Yeah.
They should be playing normal football. But I persevered with that, and it got to the stage I couldn't play at all. I got the operation, took it over a year to recover from it, and then started back at Bellahouston, worked my way back. I'm actually now back playing with Gifford North
Right.
as well as.
So you've come full circle?
But I've liked the walking football so much, particularly the high intensity stuff.
Yeah.
And I enjoy the camaraderie. And I enjoy the club, so I keep coming to both, you know.
And you play in the higher intensity,
Yes.
the competitive stuff as well. And
Yes.
you over 65s, Andy?
Oh, I am
What age are
I'm
you now?
68.
68.
Aye, so
Right.
well over 65. I'm waiting.
Yeah.
I'm at youth development for the 70s at the moment.
And somebody asked me yesterday if you could play in the over 50s as well.
I did.
Well, that was
No.
before the game yesterday.
No, but
I know,
did
yeah,
play
the
do
last
so many
festival.
competitions.
Yeah.
Aye, did go at it. Aye.
That was before the game yesterday, because I
Oh.
meant to ask you about yesterday. I know you were a school teacher, and we'll come
Yes.
back to that in a
Okay.
wee minute.
Okay.
But I was wondering if what finishing school you went to after watching your
Is
finishing
this the
yesterday.
what school you went to? Question?
No, it's about your finishing, especially.
Oh, the finishing, yeah. Well, I know that this is going to now cut to some
Yeah.
short of me
So- yes.
missing a tap in. It was a training game. Okay, let's get that straight.
I was a goalkeeper, and I'm still
It's
laughing this
probably-
morning
it
when I
has
woke
gone
up.
viral apparently, you know, because this so rarely happens, you know.
I think maybe the problem is with me and goals, you've got to try and place it really top corner, you know.
I was trying to dink you. And the goal's that height.
You might be right about the viral. If not, it will be
It
soon.
will be now,
Yes,
yes.
it will be playing behind us
So I
as
know
we speak,
we're watching
hopefully.
it.
So, where were you brought up, Andy? What
I was
year?
brought up in Greenock, East
Right.
End of Greenock, yeah.
And what school did you go to?
Well, the thing was, I was that you always ask the wrong question here, Simon. About
Okay.
what school you go to, because I was asked that many times in my young working days. When I was
Yeah.
a teacher, I got a guy in from the Nil Weymouth, anti-sectarian. And after he spoke to the kids, I says, "Now I'm going to ask you a question here. What team do you support?" And he said, "Motherwell." And I went, "I'll ask you a real question. On the Old Firm Derby, what team do you support?" And he went, "Oh, I'm kind of neutral." And I says, "No. Even women that don't watch football are neutral. They want their man's team to win, so he doesn't moan at them.
Correct.
The only people that want to win each draw are the police."
That's
So I
true.
said, that's the key question. If you want,
I could vouch for that.
who do you want to win that day
Yeah.
in the west of Scotland? But I was a Morton supporter as a young boy. I lived
Right.
in a stone's throw from Carboy, and I always went to watch them. And latterly, my son played for Queen's Park,
Right.
so I used to go and watch Queen's Park. He now plays for Pollock, so I occasionally go and watch him playing for Pollock. So,
Okay.
but on the Old Firm day, Celtic.
Celtic.
Aye. So I went to
So that's my new question now. On Old Firm Day,
Aye.
what team do you support?
Celtic. I went to St Columbus High School in Greenock.
Right.
Aye.
In Greenock.
Greenock, yes.
So what did you do? Did you go into shipyards and the normal?
No, most of the boys, a lot of the boys I worked with whether went to shipyards or the IBM was a big
Yes,
player in those
yeah.
days. I kind of stayed on in school and I wasn't sure what I was going to do.
Are you the guy from Greenock that went to
I went
university?
eventually.
Oh, I've
I'm the
heard
guy
about
that-
you. Imagine getting you for an interview as well. What's the
No,
chances?
the chances. No, I didn't go straight to for higher education, I kind of messed about a bit with different jobs. I was in a band,
Right.
and I used to play sort of in a band.
What did you play?
Well, I did vocals and I was the guitarist. It was a prog rock band.
Right.
Went down this storm, as you can imagine.
Fantastic.
And I was doing other jobs.
I think we need to do an episode about music and get Cammy.
Cammy's a progger yourself. What are the chances, right? So
it might not make good viewing, but what a night out.
What a night out, we'll have it. Then ultimately there was a big recruiting drive in the mid-70s for teachers.
Right.
And I signed
Same
up.
as the police.
Yeah, they couldn't get particularly science teachers, so I signed up to become a physics teacher.
Right.
And that's what I did for 40 years.
Okay.
And
So you're still analysing that miss yesterday, just the angle your foot was
the
at,
angle of
the
incidence.
velocity of the ball, and me putting you off.
I've forgotten all that stuff.
Therapy will help, I can vouch for that as well.
Yeah.
So where did you teach down in Greenock?
No, because I moved to Glasgow, I got a taste for the Byres Road life, and I thought I'm not going back to Greenock, much to my mother's disappointment to say my son's a teacher. You know. I worked in St Augustine's in Milton,
Right.
which is no longer there. Moved to St Roch's, and finally I got a principal teacher's post in Holyrood in the south side,
Right.
massive school,
Yep.
where I remained to the end of my tenure. Sort of thing.
Okay, that's now a venue for Glasgow Club. Over
It
at
is,
Holyrood.
yeah.
The worst park in
and it's
Glasgow.
also a
of course.
centre of excellence for football. So all these young
Right.
like Rangers, St Mirren, all the Premier League clubs, apart from Celtic, who
Right.
go to your school in Bearsden Way,
Okay.
near the Lennox town.
Right.
They all go there, so there's a lot of football associated with
Have
it.
you played football your whole life,
Yeah,
or been involved?
Yeah, I've kicked a ball since like school
You could.
teams, amateur teams, five-a-side, teachers teams, university, college teams.
And you're 68 now.
Yeah.
You'd think you'd be getting a bit better, wouldn't
I
you?
thought you're having this thing recently, most improved football, and I thought none of us are improving, you know. We're just trying to keep it.
We're just getting worse.
I know.
Slowly.
I know.
Whoever's staving off the old
Yeah.
age.
It's still good to be able to kick a ball since.
It's good to know you're going to be in my over 70s team
Yeah,
within
in
a couple of years.
me and Frank will be there.
Ah.
Frank's already there.
He's there already.
Sorry, Frank.
Cut. So, walking football.
Yes.
What about the other side of it, Andy, then? And it's at the other side of football that we hope to convey to people, because a lot of people that come to walking football haven't played football their whole lives.
No.
They just want to get a bit of movement, a bit of exercise.
Yes.
But we think there's more going on than that. We think there's a camaraderie, there's a locker room mentality. Right
Yes.
now, there's 20 people next door
door.
having a coffee
Yes.
and blethering.
Yeah.
That mental health side of it, what's your thoughts on that?
No, I think that's extremely important, because I've watched some of your earlier interviews, and I said to you before, the thing that comes across to me as important is not the football, it's how did they get into football and what are the benefits.
Yeah.
And people who had stories to tell who were extremely positive, and I was amazed when I heard some of the stories of my colleagues in the football of what they've had to come through and what this has done for them. Yeah. So I think that's probably more important than the football.
To some people, yes.
To me, I'm a guy who just likes to play football, you know, but I think that
You're not very sociable, is that what
no,
you
I'm
mean?
totally. But no, and I see what the benefits to other guys. I think it's amazing. You know.
Yeah.
What I do think, but for the future development of it is, I see too many guys who can still run.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, is there a place for football for seniors, for the guys who are competitive, who do want to play football? You know,
And not call it walking football.
no,
no.
call football for all guys. There'll be issues around non-contact and health issues, but I think we could that's a goer for guys that can still run about, play football
That's
at a higher
interesting.
intensity. I would like to see that.
That's interesting, because we have the 50s football, we call it, on a Friday,
Yes,
but they just play normal football. I see what you mean. There's a space there for seniors football.
It's hard
It's a
to
bit
play
lower
walking
intensity.
football when you can run,
Yes.
but it's easy to play it when you can't run.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? To adhere to the rules.
Yeah.
Life would be easier for referees, that's for sure.
Well, that's the main thing.
No.
Let's face it, because they make the game.
There's a massive amount of running goes on in the games.
Yeah,
you know.
that's why we've got the 3 tiers now, though,
Aye.
with the low intensity.
Yeah.
We've just been over there in the rain, and there's 2 completely different games going on.
Yeah.
There's one where it's low intensity and
Yeah.
nobody's bothered, they just want to enjoy it. And there's your game, where some folk just do. See, when we started walking football, the problem, as you've just identified, was getting people to take us seriously.
Yes.
Because you'd say walking football, it'd go very funny. And probably 9 out of 10 people don't come because they're prejudiced
I
about
tried
the
to
words.
recruit guys from Gifford North, cracking footballers, skill
Yes.
run, but they'd be great at this game. But the football, I'm not ready for that. Yeah, when you're in your 70s, you know what I mean. You're in your 60s, whatever. You would enjoy it, but you still.
Yeah, they don't realise it's just
I
a
get
different
stick for
type of
playing it. You know
football.
what they went. Oh, football. What are you doing there? You know,
right?
Yeah, I know. It's because I like it.
Yeah. They don't understand it. And what I was going to finish that with was the problem initially is getting them to take it seriously.
Yes.
The problem once they're playing is stopping them taking it too seriously.
That's correct. These are guys that
it
want you
only
win.
needs 2 or 3 in a game, and it spoils it for everyone else because they're taking.
That's why I mentioned the issues around non-contact.
Yes.
Because I mean, when I'm playing on the Thursday, it is contact.
Right.
Okay, people are kind of trying to hold off, but people get hurt,
Mm-hmm.
accidentally, of course. But you know,
Yeah.
we couldn't have that at this stage. You know, people flying in and whatever. You know.
Back to your hip operation. Did you only get the 1 hip done?
Yes.
Right. Well, we always like to finish on a positive note, so I think if you get the other one done, life might become a lot
Let's
simpler
hope so,
for you.
Simon. Pleasure talking to you.
Thanks, Andy.
Thank you.